Hello and welcome to the Ultimate Bedrock Survival Guide. My name is Lost Bobbin, and I am here to share everything I know about how Minecraft works on PC, tablet, and console. If you play on Bedrock Edition, you have found the right place. In today's episode, we're going to find a stronghold. This is where you're going to find the portal for the end, and the end is where you find the Ender Dragon and also where you get elytra and shulker boxes. I'm starting this episode in the Warped Forest because I need a few more ender pearls. When you're preparing to find a stronghold, you need around 3 to 4 to find the stronghold, and then you should bring at least 12 for the end portal. I need a few more since I'm also demonstrating stuff for you guys. At this point, I'm headed into some real battle situations, and I've decided it's time to fix my sword. Bane of Arthropods is simply too specialized, whereas Sharpness is a better enchantment against any mob. The problem is that my first sword has mending and looting and flame on it already, and I can't have both Sharpness and Bane of Arthropods. Because they're incompatible, I can't just get a Sharpness book and add it to my sword. But with 2 enchanted swords, I can replace one with the other and combine the rest of the enchantments. So if I have an anvil, and I have Bane on the left and Sharpness on the right, I keep Bane, but add knockback. This is because the left-hand side is the target and it keeps its enchantments. The right side is the sacrifice. So if I switch them, you can see that now I'm keeping Sharpness, but I'm also gaining all of those other enchantments. You can see that the cost is a lot higher. In fact, I'm starting to get close to my maximum of 39 levels. I may not be able to get this sword all the way to Sharpness 5, but I will try. I have a few more eyes to gather, and then we're going to go back to base and pack our bags to go find a stronghold. You know, just a quick reminder, hostile mobs cannot sense you through glass. This is handy for so many situations. I'm all packed up for the next 3 episodes. From here on out, you can jump around using timestamps, or you can just sit back and watch the whole thing. I'm only going to find the stronghold in this episode, and then I'll kill the dragon in the following episode, and then in the 3rd episode, we're going to go end busting to get the wings and shulker boxes. Each of these chests represent a different aspect of our adventure. The first chest contains the resources we need to find the stronghold, the ender pearls, and the blaze rods. If you only play in peaceful mode, I suggest that you set up farms in peaceful and then temporarily switch to a mode that involves hostile mobs to get these resources. The chance of finding a stronghold with all the eyes of ender in place is 1 in a trillion. To make the eye of ender, you convert a blaze rod into blaze powder, and then you craft an Eye of Ender. This can all be done without a crafting table, so you can do it on the road. An Eye of Ender points to the nearest stronghold. So what you're going to do is you're going to basically look up into the sky and you're going to throw it or use it. So, oh, there it is. It's way over there. It's pointed, well, that direction. And that's the direction we're going to head to find our stronghold. You keep throwing the Eyes of Ender until the eye sinks into the ground and disappears. And that's the location of your stronghold. Sometimes the eye can break, which is why you want to take a few more on the trip with you. Since I can craft them without a crafting table, I'm just going to bring the supplies. Now I'm going to go through what I would take on these adventures. I promise I'll have forgotten something, so I'll add a text overlay of additional things you should bring. For any adventure, you want a bed for your spawn point, and a stronghold is always underground, so you may want to build a bubble elevator. You'll need soul sand and kelp and some water to do that. You might need bone meal depending on how deep your stronghold is. Bring a minimum of 12 ender pearls and 6 blaze rods. And I forgot to add in a block or 2 of redstone, optional 10 blocks of obsidian, and a flint and steel, because you might want to make another portal connect back to your base. Now to battle the ender dragon, you want boats to capture the pesky enderman, and a bucket of water to repel the pesky enderman, some empty glass bottles for dragon's breath, and a whole bunch of arrows. The potions are completely up to you, and I highly recommend scaffolding. Getting an ender pearl in the end is really easy, but you are going to need at least 1 to go through the next round of portals onto the outer islands. Once we're on the outer islands, you'll need a ton of solid blocks to make bridges between the islands. Once we're navigating around the islands, you're going to want to bring a spyglass, and this will help you find the end cities. And then, of course, once we find the end city and the end ship, you're going to want scaffolding. And then once we find the elytra, you're going to want to use the enchanted books of mending and unbreaking on an anvil to enchant your elytra. Finally, a crafting table and either some chests or some wood to make chests in order to make the shulker boxes. And I completely forgot that you need to bring either paper and gunpowder or straight up rockets if you actually want to use your elytra. Between some bundles and my ender chest, I'm going to be able to carry all of this with me at the beginning of this venture, but then on the way back, I'm going to have shulker boxes to carry any extra loot home. I've traveled a bit from my base, so it's time to throw another eye to see if we're still going in the correct direction. And we are. So that's it. We're just going to do this for a while. I try and throw the eye in wide open areas so I can really see which direction to go. I followed the eye to a village. Now I found many strongholds under a village, so I chose to go all the way through, and now I'm going to throw my next eye. Yep, it's going behind me now. So now it's going to get really tricky because this village is in a very densely forested area with really tall trees. And when I throw the eye, it might get stuck up in the leaves up there. Fantastic. It's tricky, but we're getting closer. Oh, and that's an example of an eye getting destroyed. So now I need to make a new eye because that one's just completely gone. I found it. So I'm going to clear out this snow so I can show you exactly what happens. We're going to throw the eye. Oh, and you saw it sink into the ground right there. That's the entrance to our stronghold. Wait, what? Okay, that was one I threw earlier and it's just finally resurfaced. We can also dig down there. Basically, this whole area is going to be a great place to dig and find our stronghold. I will not lie though, this is a terrible village. It's so dark, so many mobs, everything is just going to be a mess here. Some people like to build staircases to get down below. I prefer to do a 3 across, like a 3x1, because that way I can be standing on a block in safety and I can dig at least 5 deep down below me without falling into caves or tunnels or anything like that. But it also allows me to build an instant elevator back up. So from here, you just have to figure out how you're going to get down, but this is how I do it. I'm going to remind you that if you're under a village, they're going to be attacked at night by zombies because the chunk is loaded. If you needed them as a resource, you might have locked them into their houses at night. I've also been placing torches on one side of the shaft as I dig down, and this is also going to help with the bubble elevator deal. Oh, hey, this is what we're looking for. So when you find stone bricks or mossy stone bricks, that means you found the stronghold. Okay, let's dig out a little bit and see where we are in the entrance. Oh, perfect. We're in what is considered the entrance to the stronghold. It's a spiraling staircase that goes down. This is what that ender pearl is supposed to indicate, is this spiral staircase. Now, the stronghold is not, inherently dangerous, but it is a dark place. So hostile mobs will spawn in here. So how I'm going to approach this is I'm going to run in really quick, just a little bit, and kind of light up the first part. And then we're going to step back and talk about it for a little bit. Oh, wait, whoa. Oh no, there's a mine shaft intersecting the stronghold. So what's happened is that this other structure has generated and it's overwritten my stronghold structure. We'll most likely find the portal room, but all the other cool rooms are going to be overwritten, and this is a bummer. A mine shaft also means the spaces down here are not as predictable for hostile mob spawning. So I've done explored the upper regions, and most of that was mine shaft. Oops, sorry. So now let's go explore downstairs. There's still a lot of mine shaft, but maybe we'll get lucky and find the portal room. Oh, there's a silverfish. Well, that tells me the portal room is around here somewhere. I just found a spiral staircase I haven't explored. Since I'm breaking blocks with Silk Touch, I should not have released a silverfish out of an infested stone, so the spawner must be nearby. And if the spawner's nearby, so is the portal room. Aha! Here it is, we found it. So there's the spawner and the portal room. Now the first thing we're going to do is break the spawner because we have the potion of infestation and we no longer need a spawner for silverfish. But here it is. This is the portal room. Oh boy, we need all 12 Eye of Ender. That's ridiculous. Well, there's some lava pools around here and right in the middle as well. And guys, I'm gonna call this stronghold a bust. If all we were doing was heading to the end, then we could do that here. But this is a survival guide, and I wanted to show you guys all the different parts of a regular stronghold and how to navigate it. So I know of 2 options here. One option is to head back to our world spawn and use the Eye of Ender trick to find a different stronghold, not our base, but world spawn. A second option is to just use chunk base. Either way, I'll meet you back at the staircase of another stronghold. Here we are in a shiny new stronghold, many blocks away from the first one. I've not explored this one yet, but if it's also overwritten, I'll just cut out all the footage. So I dug down in the same manner as last time, but this time I'm really close to the top surface. Over here is the normal spiral staircase entrance. It just dead ends at the top, no need to go up there. Now this stair also dead ends on either side, and I'm going to investigate these walls later. It's very common for a corridor to be walled in. Oh, please be careful if you don't have a silk touch on your pick. These stones can be infested with silverfish, and if you harm one instead of kill it, it'll call for help, and then you may have an ankle biter problem. Since I brought so much stuff with me, I'm going ahead and dumping a bit of my inventory, and then I'm grabbing the redstone and a couple solid blocks to use while we explore the stronghold. Let's start by going downstairs, since the upstairs apparently is blocked off. A stronghold is a dark maze, just like a mineshaft or a nether fortress. Be prepared with torches and a weapon as you move around the rooms. Now, some people use the torch on the left so you can find the right way out, but I messed that up a lot. So I tried to just go left at all intersections and up before down. Oh boy. Here's one of the many intersection rooms you're going to come across. So I'm going to quickly throw down a few torches just so that I'm not, too many. Oh no, there's a mob. Yeah, I don't really want that kind of a mob. Let's kill that mob. And then I'm just going to throw down a couple torches to light up the different entrance ways so that nothing can really sneak up on me like that one did. Even though I was trying to be really careful, I did get myself turned around a little bit. So I'm going to indicate where the exit is to head back to my base. And I do that with redstone dust. So I'm putting redstone dust here. That's the way back to my bed. I haven't gone down there yet. I'm headed up first to the first intersection and then left. Of course, it's a dead end after all that. So when I come to a dead end, I'll block things off with some sort of solid block, and then now I can head straight, and ta-da, there's a chest I can check out, and I think this is that same intersection we were just at. Now, chests have a variety of loot, and one of the things that they can have are ender pearls, not Eye of Ender, so unfortunately you really need to go to the Nether Fortress if you want to do this fun activity. So I'll call this entryway complete with my block of dirt so that we don't have to come back down here and then walk back the way I came and put down a piece of dirt here as well. So now I'm going to go straight and then I don't have to go left. Instead, I just get to go straight again. Don't worry, I'm not going to drag you through this whole stronghold. I'm only going to take you to things that are interesting. Oh, look. There's something interesting. So this is the tough bricks again. This is going to be a trial chamber intersecting my stronghold. Man, I hope that doesn't intersect it to the point of me not being able to find a library. All right, I'll be back when I found a library, you guys. Aha, a library. Okay, now a library is generally really well lit. So if you're worried about mobs and whatever, they're not going to be in a library. You can just close the door behind you. Library is full of books and cobwebs and a couple chests, and that's what's in here. So I'm breaking the cobwebs with my sword, which turns them into string. If I had shears, then I'd be picking them up as cobwebs. All right, let's go find these chests. Here's the first one, and it's going to have guaranteed the eye armor trim. So if you find a library, you're going to get this trim. And we're also going to get a bunch of enchanted books, some paper, some books, lots of different cool things you might find in a library. So the first chest is going to be down here on top of one of the bookshelves. And then the second chest is going to be up high on the second story. So let's head up there real quick. So the second chest is going to be in a corner, and this I really don't trust to be lit up enough, although technically I think it's supposed to be. There's the chest. And these chests are always funny because they're always blocked off, so you have to break that plank of wood up above it in order to open it. And yep, there we go. The second eye armor trim, and then, more paper, books, things like that. So a library is a fantastic place to pick up books. There's going to be like a stack and a half in here, which you can just collect all these books if you want to use books as part of your decor. Or if you want to share the wealth and give everybody else the books they need for an enchanting table. I generally take all these books back home with me, and I just use them as decor in my builds. I didn't have enough room to gather them all, so I'm going to have to head back later. And what I'm going to do here is leave a bookcase on the ground so that I remember which direction was the library. And then up there, I've got a tough block because I want to remember where the trial chamber is. And then I walk past my little redstone dust and I'm back to my bed. I am fairly certain that I have explored everywhere going downstairs, and I still haven't found the portal room. So my next step is to go up these stairs and break through a couple of these walls to see if there's anything hidden behind them. It's pretty simple. Yep, there they are. Okay, so I'm pretty certain I haven't been down here, but I'll find out here in a second. Oh yeah, so there's a closed door with darkness behind it. I'll be back after I find that portal room. Oh, I haven't shown you one of these. This is like a loft with treasure on top, and there it is. There's the portal room. Cool. All right, let's just light up a little bit around here. I feel like I'm flirting with disaster not having killed that spawner yet. This seems like a terrible idea. Let's head back and break that spawner. Oh, yep, there's one. Oh, lucky. It just kind of infested that stone beneath it. Cool. Well, let's just break this so no more come out. Now, if you remember from my potions video, silverfish break blocks. So it is possible for them to release those pools of lava, and then you're in a heap of trouble. So you don't want to delay like I just did. Oh, look. This one already has 3 Eye of Ender in it, which means I only need 9 to open the portal. Always bring 12, just in case. All end portals lead to the same place in the end, so it doesn't matter which stronghold you end up using. In fact, I might use the other stronghold in the future because it was closer to my base. Either way, we'll use this portal for the guide, but I'm going to wait and place the Eyes of Ender in the beginning of the next episode. To wrap up this episode, I do have a few tricks for navigating back out of the stronghold. First, I used redstone, like breadcrumbs, to help me build a path between the main entrance and the portal room. And this is also handy if you're playing with friends, but they're going to use the stronghold later. To get back to the surface, I'm going to build a bubble elevator. We've not made one in this series yet, because I did not have kelp. The first step is to frame in the elevator shafts. They can only be 1 by 1. And I'll fill in the center between the up and down as a final step. This side will be the down elevator. And I have a cool technique if all you've ever done in the past is place a block of water on the floor. Make at least 3 signs and place 2 blocks above the floor inside of the down side of your shaft. On the up side, place 2 signs on a wall adjacent to the shaft. Now I'm going to begin to pillar back up to the top. When I get 1 block above my sign, I will place a single block of water and then continue to pillar up to the surface. That single block will break my fall, but then I'll pass through it and land softly on the floor and exit the elevator without having to jump up out of a block of water. If you have a particularly deep elevator, you might want to watch my other survival guide where I go over a trick for super deep elevators. The link is in the description, and my apologies for the sound quality. Hopefully I'm improving. Anyway, this one's not deep at all. I brought way more kelp than I needed. So once you get to the top, place a block of water on the top block of the up side of your elevator. And next you get to jump down the downside. Ah, so nice to not fall into a puddle of water. Grab your kelp and then start planting kelp on the up side. Each piece of kelp will turn that running water into a water block. If you have enough kelp, you can just place kelp on kelp to turn the flowing water into blocks. Or you can use a bone meal first and then add the kelp on top. The trick is watching your bubbles so you don't run out of air before you get to the top. Jump back down to the bottom, break the kelp, break the stone block under the kelp, and replace that block with a piece of soul sand. Once you see the bubbles, you have a bubble elevator. And what this means is you can breathe in here. You don't lose your air going up this elevator. That wraps up the Stronghold episode. So tune in next time and we're going to take down the Ender Dragon. Bye!